Hi, I'm Mr. Bizey, and I'm a middle school orchestra teacher, and today I'm going to talk about the viola. This is lesson 1 for the viola. Now, I want to caution you, if you're like, I want to learn how to play the viola, and I'm going to follow your set of videos to do this, I don't know if that's the best idea. I'm creating these videos more as supplemental to if you're an orchestra and you're learning the instrument, or if you're taking private lessons. In many ways, this is my way of kind of reminding people of things they need to learn while they're at home. Because I know we all learn things in class or from our lessons, and we get home and was like, wait, how did that work? How did it go? Now I realize some of the things I do may be slightly different from some of the things your teacher may tell you to do. Go with what your teacher tells you. I'm going with the basic stuff that I've used over the years, and I've known a number of other teachers that have used these. So I found it very useful to put this into play. So as I said, today we're talking about the viola. I do have a whole series on the violin. We're going to borrow some of those videos later on if you want to, specifically about the bow, because the bow is exactly the same as far as how you grip it and use it on the viola as the violin. Well, if you have both instruments, you probably have 2 different bows. So this is a viola right here. Now most people who've never played the viola or know nothing about it, like, I don't know what a viola is. What's the difference between that and a violin? Well, this is my viola. This is my violin. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in the size. Violin is smaller and has higher strings, so the G, D, A, and goes all the way up to the E, whereas the viola starts on the low C string, which is lower than what you have on the violin, and goes up to the same A that's on the violin. Of course, the violin goes another string up. So they have 3 shared strings between the 2. It also reads a very different clef. It's called alto clef. Now, way down the road, we'll get into reading music, and we'll talk about alto clef a little bit. The viola is really one of the few instruments that uses alto clef, though, too. So if you want to learn viola, you're going to have to learn a new clef. Even if you've played piano before, you probably never encountered alto clef. Anyway, so we'll go over just the basic parts of the viola and how it works. So first of all, as I showed you the size difference on this, now that's, for me, as an adult, there is a size difference. For kids, if you're 4th, 5th, 6th grade just learning the instrument, most likely your instrument is a restrung violin to be a viola, because they're worried about the size of the instrument in, smaller fingers, smaller arms, and that sort of thing. As you get older, violas actually, even though they're supposed to be bigger, they go by a different size. There's not half, 3/4, and full like you'd have in a violin. They actually go by inches. Mine's I think it's a 16 and a half, 17 and a half. I can't even remember off the top of my head. So I want to say 17 and a half inch viola, which is pretty big. It's actually a good sized viola, especially for somebody as short as I am. But it's got a great sound and everything. Same parts as the violin. We still have a scroll up here. We have the tuning pegs up here. The nut right here. We have the strings, of course. The black piece on the front is the fingerboard. This is the neck. We have the main body of the instrument, the F holes right here, the bridge, the tail piece, the chin rest. This is where your chin goes, just always remember that. And the end pin, which if you've ever played cello or know anything about cello, it's a lot different from a cello end pin. And you may have some sort of shoulder rest. I have a very short neck, so I don't use one of those big kind of black things that attach onto the back of these. Most likely if you rented your instrument, it may come with something like that. I don't use one of those. I have a short neck. I have like a little air pillow thing basically here, just to give me what I need. To play the viola, again, it's almost exactly like the violin. You take this end pin right here, and it should go at a 45-degree angle between the very front of your neck. If you think of this as 0 degrees, and you think of the very side of your neck as 90 degrees, it's going to be at 45 degrees right there. Put that end pin right there, bring your chin over, and remember your chin goes on the chin rest. Yes, you're going to see professionals that play like this, like they're laying on their instrument. They get paid a lot of money. If they want to do that and it works for them, they can. As students, we want to learn the correct ways. I've known many musicians, or just about anything in life, that says if you want to do something well, you have to do it right first and show that you can do it right, then you get to break the rules. So if you're learning this and in school, do it the way that you're taught. If you get paid millions of dollars later on down the road to play your instrument and you want to lay your head down on your instrument and do it and that works for you, by all means, go ahead. But just to get that uniform idea, just to get everybody on the same page, it's best to do that 45-degree angle, bring your chin over, and then when you play it, you actually bring the instrument over. Now, this shouldn't torque you at all. You shouldn't feel like you're wrenching your back or anything like that. Now, I don't think I covered this quite on the violin, so this will be good for you viola players. Your wrist should not be touching the neck at all. Like, there's a lot of young players who play like this. You don't want to do that. You want to get your fingers up nice and curved on the instrument. And for right now, I'm just showing you how to hold the instrument. You can check out my next video, which is how to hold the bow. I'm going to put that right at the end of this video. You can click the link on how to hold the bow, and then the next video is how to rosin the bow. Both very important things. But one more thing, when you're in orchestra and you're supposed to be in attention position, most teachers would call that, or conductors would call that, you want to have your viola on your left knee. You'd have your bow standing straight up on your right knee. And the best thing about this is your hands are far away, so it's very hard for you to make noise, because there's nothing more than a teacher or conductor hates than you sitting there plucking on your instrument, making noise, and probably distracting the people around you. So if you're in attention position, you're not able to do that as well, although I do know some kids who will still use their left hand to do this. Don't do that, okay? Don't be that person. If you're one of my students, definitely don't do that. But you want to have this, and when the conductor brings up the baton, you bring up the instrument and get it ready to play. Okay, so I hope that helps you with the viola. If you have any questions or comments, you can certainly leave them below. If you're one of my students, don't feel the need that you have to say, hey, I watched your video, Mr. Bizey. Okay, it's just, if people have questions about something, you can put it there and I'll be glad to answer it. So thank you so much for watching, and join me again. You'll see, I'm going to put a link in this for how to hold the bow. It'll say violin lesson. Again, it's the exact same thing. You can just use that to how to hold the bow for the viola. Thank you so much for watching.